Industry surveys have estimated that every homeowner will experience one water loss in their lifetime. We at Ideal understand that each water loss is unique, and we approach every assignment with care and concern. During our years of experience, we've come to recognize the similarities that many of our jobs share. We've created this video to answer general questions common to many of our customers. Understanding the processes and procedures of water loss recovery may ease some of the uncertainties you may have.
It was really great to have people come in and know what they were doing, explain it to you. You could get confidence in that you were doing the right thing and that you needed to kind of hand over responsibility for them to explain things and let you make decisions.
We classify water loss or water damage into three categories. The first category is called clean water loss. This happens when a pipe or hot water heater breaks, spilling water throughout the property. The second category is gray water loss. This occurs when clean water has saturated into man-made materials. The third most damaging category is black water loss. This is when raw sewage floods a home or business and requires major decontamination and cleanup. This video will deal with the clean water loss you may be dealing with right now. After viewing this short presentation, you will be acquainted with the procedures and timelines involved with returning your property to pre-loss condition. Once the drying process has begun, it is essential to remember that clean water, or supposedly clean tap water, is not actually clean once it has spilled and saturated into man-made substances. Hoses, pipes, hot water tanks, and ice makers contain clean water.
We have always been innovators in the water damage restoration side of the business, and an important part of that process is to be continually learning and applying new and better drying techniques. We follow the S599 standards, which is a reference guide for professional water damage restoration.
This guide is published by the Institute of Inspection, Cleaning, and Restoration Certification. It lists the standard procedures to be followed and precautions to be observed when performing water damage and sewage backflow restorations. As a means of establishing a professional working relationship with our clients, it's necessary for ideal restorative drying to evaluate the degree of water migration.
Oh my God, it's all the way over there?
This includes establishing the scope of damage and opening communications with customers, claimants, or insurance representatives before proceeding with the drying process.
We have a little packet in the back, so the work authorization...
Before restoration begins, the source of the water intrusion should be located and eliminated if possible.
And as the process proceeds, they employ, I think, state-of-the-art equipment to dry the affected areas. Those pieces of equipment are dehumidifiers, air movers, and a very interesting spidery-looking tool that plugs plastic lines into every wall that's affected by the water in order to circulate air behind the walls. I'm impressed that they make every effort they can to dry the walls, and as a knee-jerk reaction, they're just not ripping out walls to be replaced.
Before actual work begins, it is necessary to obtain a signed work authorization from the property owner or property manager. At this point, once a work authorization has been signed, we will begin necessary emergency services. We extract the water, pre-clean the affected area, and dry the property according to the guide for professional water damage restoration. We remove lamps, telephones, computers, structural components, furnishings, and appliances that are in danger of water contamination, and we stage contents from affected areas to unaffected areas. We take up the saturated rugs and carpets when hardwood floors are at risk. It may be necessary to remove baseboards to expose the loss in detail and set a scope to treat and dry saturated structural materials. Furthermore, we may need to drill ventilation holes beneath the baseline. It is important to recognize that microbial growth must be controlled by removing water and reducing humidity. If drying is not accomplished properly, microorganisms are likely to grow. How much electricity does this equipment take? It depends on what equipment we use and how long we are on your job. Typically, it will cost about $1 per day per piece of equipment. How long will it take to finish this job? Depends on the extent of the damage. The typical job takes 3 to 5 days. Why is it necessary to drill holes in my walls? We need to create air movement inside the wall cavities so that the walls will dry inside as well as outside. What is the purpose of your moisture detection equipment? At the beginning of any job, we want to establish a drying goal. Our moisture detection instruments tell us the moisture content of floors, walls, and carpets. Additionally, our instruments can give us readings on the relative moisture content in the air surrounding the affected areas. Typically, as a means to establish equilibrium, we go to the unaffected areas of the laws to determine what the moisture content ideally should be. Who is paying for this? Am I covered by my insurance, and how much will it cost? Our prices are published in a pricing guideline that is presented to each owner or agent of the owner. Basically, the cost depends on the time it takes to dry your property, added to the cost it will take to put it back to pre-loss condition. Who's going to repair, paint, and recarpet after you're finished drying? We specialize in drying. Remember, drying is the first phase of an operation that will return your property back to pre-loss condition. We don't sell or install carpets, sheetrock, or even repaint. However, we can recommend specific companies that we have found to be reliable. Or you can contact your agent, or you can call a company that you're familiar with. How am I going to sleep here because of the noise created from your machines? You can turn the machines off at night, but it will prolong the time they need to be running in order to completely dry the affected areas. When your crew is finished the first day, will they be back? Typically, we return every day to take readings until the structure is dry. They will need to take readings and reposition drying equipment as needed. Is ideal drying bonded? Yes. We've served the Bay Area since 1973. At the end of each restoration job, we issue a certificate of completion and satisfaction, which is presented for the customer's signature. It states that all work performed by Ideal Drying carries a 12-month warranty against faulty workmanship from the date of completion. We hope most of your questions have been answered regarding water loss and emergency service restoration. Ideal is a service-oriented company. We know that any water loss is a major interruption in your life. Our staff is available to not only answer your questions, but to smooth the progress of getting your property back to pre-loss condition. If you should want more information, we offer 2 other videos specifically addressing sewage backups and mold remediation. If any of your questions or concerns have not been addressed by this video, please call the office. Thank you for your time today.